Naruto Storm Connections is a waste of $60. If you are one of the few people that were aware of this game, given that this game barely had any marketing, you may be wondering if it would be a good investment to buy the latest Naruto Storm game. At the time of writing the script, I wouldn't recommend this game to pretty much anyone with a working brain cell, as this game is really just Storm 4 with DLC and minor changes. The one highlight I do want to give credit for in this game is the special story mode. It is essentially like a filler arc in BORUTO, but it being done right. I don't want to spoil too much since it is the main thing that would give people a reason to buy the game, but the fact that I can summarize the story in a few sentences goes to show that it wouldn't be worth spending $60 for cutscenes that you can see on YouTube. To give a basic overview so you're not left completely in the dark, Boruto and friends play a new game called Ninja Heroes, and no, not the goated PSP game, which turns out to be a major plot device that drives the story forward. The new NPC character named Nanashi that is throughout the game has a compelling story, and she makes going through the story more enjoyable and can be seen as heartwarming, especially near the end. The overall main villain, Mers, was an okay villain, basically standard filler villain of the week, but was serviceable to say the least, as he was trying to finish what Pain started in Shippuden, but in his own way. And I don't want to spoil more of the story that I already had, but there was a point in the story where Boruto learns of what Naruto had to go through to be the man he is today, and it made me appreciate the story even more. Since Boruto would have grown from it, it's too bad that this would be considered filler, since it would have been great character development for Boruto. So while I can say the story of the game is overall decent, going through the actual story mode was a drag, because like I said, a majority of it is just cutscenes. There are barely any fights within the mode, and when they do appear, they last like 2 to 3 minutes at most, assuming you're not brain dead when playing the game. Not including the boss fights though, if you really want to consider them boss fights that is. Most of them are just regular battles where the characters you're fighting has more life bars than usual. Aside from one of the last boss fights, it's really nothing grand, unlike the boss fights from a game like Storm 2 for example, which released all the way back in 2010. As for the history mode, it's pretty much exactly what you think. A comprehensive look at the Naruto series as a whole. If you are an established Naruto fan, I deem this only cool if you wanted to refresh the Naruto story again, and if you are a newbie to the franchise, it'd be an okay introduction in general, but you'd be better off reading the manga or watching the anime. One thing to note as when you're going through some of the boss fights, they are pretty much one-to-one with the original boss fights from their respective Storm games, although it does highlight a glaring issue with the game as a whole in that it is premeditated laziness. What I mean is that it seems the people at CC2 made the intentional decision to make the game worse. For example, when going through the Naruto vs Sasuke boss fight in the Orochimaru hideout, I noted that in the second half of the fight, it removed the part of the fight where it would flip back and forth with the present fight and the final valley fight, and it made me realize that the English redub for this game is overall bad.
Did that wake you up? Did that wake you up?
He needs some milk!
Apparently this was due to the use of AI, since some of the actors including Mally Flanagan, the voice of English dub Naruto, noted that some of the lines recorded weren't hers to begin with, as well as the voice of English dub Kawaki noted as such as well. Shout out to Senju in Japan for that info on his video, as I didn't realize that this was the case for this game. Link in the description for that video. I'm only going to touch on online mode for a second, since it's really not worth talking about. As of writing the script, you can't set up private lobbies to play with friends. That immediately lowers the value of this game. All you do in this game mode is ranked and player matches, which is fine, but it's not like you want to be doing that all the time. Not having the option to play with your friends on day one of the game's release is horrendous, and from my understanding, crossplay isn't a thing in this game, at least not yet, but that would essentially be useless if I can't play with my friends who are on the Switch while I'm playing on my PC. Come on CC2, I'm trying to beat the Nintendo out of my friends. PC does what Nintendo don't, and that's to reach 60 FPS. Now for the most important part of the game, that being the gameplay. It's f***ing Storm! There's nothing crazy new about this game aside from a couple of things. For one, they removed tilts and have opted to use a secondary ninjutsu in place of that. Wow, that sounds great, right? So we can do some customization for these characters, right? Right? Wrong. Not only do these characters have locked jutsus in place, but it also highlights another stupid aspect of the game. They claim that there are over 130 characters in the game. Half of them are f***ing Naruto and Sasuke. I'd understand for the ones that have somewhat different movesets, but come on, 4 different Borutos? And even though this game is simple to pick up, there is now a simple control method, which does the work for you, where if you keep on pressing B or Y, if you're on an Xbox controller at least, they would either ensue a combo or start a new jutsu without much effort. I can see if this is your very first time with the game, you can try it out, but unless certain requirements are met for you, this is not a setting I would keep on, since the normal control controls are good enough. Look, this game at its base is undercooked. As I said earlier in the review, this game is premeditated laziness, as boss fights are lackluster, story mode in general is a hit or miss, and online mode being doo-doo butter currently hurts the longevity of the game. At its full retail price of $60, I do not recommend anyone get this game. Like, I'm not even trying to hate, but for me personally, I'm hesitant to recommend the game even if it were $5, because online is so crucial to playing the game long term, and somehow the previous Storm game does it better with that. And even though I said the actual story and special story is good, you can easily just watch the cutscenes on YouTube. As of now, this game is not worth your time and money. So what do you guys think? Do you already have Storm connections? Do you enjoy or have distaste for the game more than I already do? What are your reasons for such? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm the Curly Haired Hokage, and I hope you all have an amazing and blessed day. Peace.